So, not gonna lie, I just absolutely fucked over making that coffee. Fucking rocks are slippery. I smashed my left elbow. Oh my days. Bit of blood, bit sore. Hopefully I've not done any damage, but yeah, it's a bit fucking tender if I'm honest with you. Might be a bit of swelling just to protect the wound, but fucking hell, I fucked over mine. Straight up my arse. I got a wet arse and a bad left elbow. Look how beautiful it is though. Look at this. Look. Look at this. Amazing. Amazing. Even the pathway. Look at this. Beautiful. Wales is absolutely God's country. It's fucking beautiful. Absolutely. Yeah. Hope everyone's all right. And enjoying all the revelations coming out recently. There's me thinking it was all conspiracy theorists. Conspiracy theories, isn't it? Got Jeffrey's list with Bill, Hillary, they're all on there. Many, many more to come. Many, many more to come. Yeah. Waited a long time for this moment. An absolute long time. Fucking hell. But yeah. Looks like the world's just about to be woken up massively to everything that's been going on. Things we've all been screaming about for many, many years. Absolutely fucking bonkers. It really is bonkers. But yeah. Anyway, this is What is Common Law Part 2. What is Common Law Part 2? So last time we spoke about how simple it is. You know, how people are complicating stuff. And it is really so simple. It's no loss, no harm, no damage, no fraud. That's as simple as it gets. But next we're going to move into, obviously, we talked about staying in your own jurisdiction. You know, supreme law of the land, not maritime admiralty law of the water. Had a few comments on the last video saying people are a little bit concerned about pensions, types of benefits and that they receive, and if they'd lose them. Well, you won't lose nothing. You won't lose nothing really, because you've been living your whole life as the legal fiction. You know, you've been that's the only thing you've known. You know, you were given no choice. You had to use that system. So you have like a common law umbrella which you can step in and out of whenever, any time you see fit. You know, just remember, the most important thing to remember is there is no victim, there is no crime. So you're not committing a crime if there's no victim. It's just a way of identifying the difference between real law and the maritime admiralty system we're in, which is statutes and legislation and acts, you know, road traffic acts. You know, it's just fucking, they're not real laws. So when they say you've got to get out of the system, you don't have to completely get out of the system, because we can't right now anyway. We can't, because there's no other option. Like the thing with the money, we have no other option at the minute. Until this system comes crashing down, we have no other option. So you have to use the system. But it's more about while you're in there using this system, you have a way of protecting yourself against stuff that is unlawful. And that's the key element here, that it's unlawful. It's not real law. And it only gets the colour of law with your consent. It's consent of the governed. So you don't have to lose out on your pensions or anything like that. If you want to still pay your mortgage and stuff while you're doing this, then you should continue to do so. I mean, if I'm honest with you, I wouldn't risk doing anything. There is ways around your mortgage and stuff, but I wouldn't risk anything like that until you're up to speed on everything, if you know what I mean. If you were that confident within yourself and your abilities and your convictions, you know, you should definitely know what you're doing if you're dealing with stuff like that. But the little things that you can start with, and it is just a start. It's just things like your parking tickets, your fucking speeding fines. These are all unlawful because there's no victim. A corporation can't be a victim. The police are a corporation. The government are a corporation. The council are a corporation. And the courts. The courts are a corporation. So remember, a corporation can't be sovereign, and corporations are made by man. Therefore, they cannot stand above man. Remember this, they cannot stand above man. So if they can't stand above man, what does that mean? That means they work for us. They really do. They work for us, and they only have any authority when we give it to them. That was their job, you know, to work for us. We created it. Just like we can't stand above God. Remember, God created us. God's law, common law. No one can stand above that. We can't stand above that. If we can't stand above that, nor can any corporation. And a corporation cannot be a victim. So it's just a way. You're saying stay out of their jurisdiction. It's a way how you can deal with certain elements in their jurisdiction using supreme law of the land jurisdiction, common law, natural law, God's law. That's just what it is. It's that simple. You can use it to simplify your life until this system is thrown out, until this system comes crashing down. You can use common law and your own jurisdiction, staying in your own jurisdiction. You've got to remember, I've proved this as well, Mike. This isn't just some theory I'm talking about here. I've actually put my arse on the fucking line and I've proved this. I dealt with the councils. They could not do nothing to me. 2 court cases, remember? Civil court cases. And remember, what's the thing with civil court cases? The rules of civil procedure do not apply to we the people. They only apply to persons, and your birth certificate is your person. We're people. They can't. It's all about business, so they need to be able to do business with you. In order to do business with you as the living man or living woman, they need you to attach yourself to the birth certificate, making yourself a corporation, making yourself a dead entity. You're no longer living, which means you have no rights. You're acting in a role as a legal fiction, just like the police and the judges. They have no rights. All the time they're acting in their role. If the police was to step out of that uniform, just say, or the judge step out from behind the court desk that he sits behind and take off that robe and take off that uniform, then as a living man they have exactly the same rights as me and you. We're no different. We're all equal. It's that simple. We're all equal. And if you're acting in a role such as a judge or a solicitor or a copper or someone that works in a council, when you're acting in that role, you have no rights. Therefore, a living man or a living woman, us, we the people, our rights trump their roles. It's that simple. You need to understand how powerful you are. You know, you really do. Like, we are the ultimate authority above, like, underneath God, that is. We're the ultimate authority. We have authority over the courts. We have authority over the police. We have authority over the councils. These dead entity corpses, these corporations, these companies trying to do business with our corporation, our birth certificate, they can't do business with a living man, and we can't do business with a corporation. So therefore, every time you do business, like you're doing something with the council, or you're doing paying a fine or paying a bill, you know, you're acting in your corporation there. Because if you was acting with the living man, or as the living man, sorry, or the living woman, you couldn't do business with them. And they can't do business with you, which is why you don't have to pay for these things. You don't have to pay for these things. These things are already paid for. Have a look at this. Look. Look. Look at this. Look at this. How beautiful is that? Right here. Little one there. Yeah. So you have this common law umbrella. Let's get back to what I'm saying. You have this common law umbrella, and you can step in and out of it anytime you like. You can use your rights to trump their roles. Let's just say. Doesn't mean you've got to lose out on anything. It doesn't mean you've got to bend over for the corporations, for the police, for the courts, for the councils, which have no authority unless you give it to them. That's key. You have to remember that. That is a key element. They have no authority unless you give it to them. There's nothing they can do to you unless you allow it. Nothing. Nothing at all. Common law's simple. We've established this. No loss, no harm, no damage, no fraud. If there is no victim, there is no crime. So let's just say, just start off lightly. You've got a fine you want to pay, or got to pay, with a letter through your door. Remember, it's from a corporation. Are you a corporation or you live in? It's that simple. It is that simple. Don't do business with them. Don't contract with them. That's what they have to do. They have to get a contract with you. And remember, what makes a contract lawful? What has to happen for a contract to be lawful? There has to be a meeting of the minds. You have to know what you're getting, what you stand to gain, what you stand to lose. You have to know it. You have to have full disclosure. That's how any contract is lawful. And if a contract isn't lawful, and you haven't known any of these things, what you stand to lose, what you stand to gain, then the contract is null and void. A bit like the birth certificate. It's null and void. Because you don't know what you stand to lose. You didn't know what you stand to gain. You didn't stand to gain anything. So unless there's a meeting of the minds, the contract isn't lawful. It's null and void. Anything the council asks you for, or the police ask you for, have you got a contract with these people? Ask yourself, did you sign a contract? Did you agree to them? Who give them power of attorney over you? Did you ever give up your power of attorney over you to any of these corporations? Because I know I didn't. And this is what they want to do. They need you to consent, and they trick you into consenting, which is why you've got to be careful. So if a corporation can't prove there's a contract, anything they're trying to ask you for is null and void. Look at this. Look at this. Look at this. Look down there. That's beautiful. It's null and void. Get down and have a look at this. Try not to fall over. I flat down earlier on. Done the elbow right in. Look at this. Look at this. Wow. Wow, look at that. That's quite high, mate. That's mega high. I know it's slippery too. Yeah. So yeah, if you get a letter or a bill through the door, right, you need to ask yourself, did I contract with these people? You know, ask them to prove where's the contract before you pay anything. Just withhold paying. Put the money to one side if you're worried about it. Test the water. That's all you have to do. Just test the water. Like your council tax. Protest it. Put the money to one side. Look at this. Sorry. So high up. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Just put the money to one side and protest it. Have some fun with it. Test yourself out with some of your new skills, some of your new knowledge. You know? Just protest something, you know? Remember, if you dispute, you lose. If you dispute, you lose, right? In their system. So what you don't want to do is dispute anything. You just want to ask proof of certain things. You know, like, do this with a conditional acceptance letter. So what you can do is you can write them a letter. You receive something through the door. Just say a speeding ticket, parking ticket, council tax, you know, anything like that. Anything that's from a corporation that's not living. And then what you can do is you can write them a conditional acceptance letter. So basically you're going to say to them, you know, I've received this letter from yourselves, and on conditions, I'll meet your terms and conditions on receipt of my terms and conditions. Here's my terms and conditions. Basically, then you say, I would like to see the contract that we have together. You know, I'd like to see a contract with a wet ink signature from myself. You know, I'd like to see the contract. I'd like to see anything that says I've given away power of attorney. You know, can you prove to me, just say it's a parking fine, can you prove to me you own the roads? You know, can you prove to me I'm not a living man or a living woman? It's just, you just saying on receipt of these, give them a certain time, like a time stamp on it. So you could say, like, if I don't hear back within 2 weeks, just say 14 days, then I'll take that as unrebutted. And then that gives you the burden of proof. You know, we can go a lot more into other things you can do using the UCC one and all that in another video. Let's just try and keep it simple. Let's just break you in gently. You know, my fucking elbow's well sore. Fuck. We can break you in gently. Just protest something. Don't dispute it. You know, it's key. If you ever had a letter, just say, like, from the Inland Revenue, you owe this amount. Just say you owe 10 grand. And you write a letter back saying, I don't owe 10 grand. That's you just basically saying you must owe something. You know, and they'll take that as some sort of consent, and then you're in their fucking system, you're in their game. You know, so always respond if you're going to rebut something with a conditional of acceptance. It's that simple. Just ask them to prove that they have some sort of contract with you, agreed to do as they say. Because they haven't got a contract with you, how the fuck can they do business with you? Unless you're admitting to it, and you're going to bend over and just do as they tell you. Therefore, you're giving up your jurisdiction, which you have supreme authority over these corporations anyway in the first place. So why not try it? Put the money to one side if you're a little bit worried about it. Put the money to one side. And if it goes tits up for you, which it won't if you just do it properly, at least you got it there to pay it. You know? Bailiffs. Everyone shouldn't be worried about bailiffs. Bailiffs are the fucking easiest to deal with. Bailiffs are a piece of piss. Bailiffs turn up, and they've even started doing it now with an iPad. They turn up with no paperwork whatsoever now. And beforehand, they used to turn up with a bit of paperwork. And I think this is why they switched over to the iPads, because they say they're a high court enforcement, and they fucking ain't. It's all bullshit. It's like the magistrates' courts with the council. It's all bullshit. It's Mickey Mouse, right? So fucking, if their warrant hasn't got a wet ink signature from a judge, it's not worth nothing. It's bullshit. It's nonsense. And the easiest way to deal with this, because they won't listen to you, because they already know what they're doing, and they're just trying to fuck you over. The easiest way to deal with this is to call the police. Call the police and tell the police you've got someone trying to enter your property with some dodgy paperwork. You don't believe them to be true. Because if the police turn up, because normally if you put up a bit of resistance with the bailiffs, they look to ring the police themselves, and then what they do is they basically, police will turn up to stop a breach of the peace. They tell you they'll stop a breach of the peace. That's the only reason they're there, because remember, police can't get involved with civil matters. All right. So it's no good you shouting abuse and being aggressive. You need to stay calm and polite, but knowledgeable. And you need to just tell them, the police, you don't believe that to be a true warrant. More than likely it's going to be some young newbie copper. It's not really going to know much, it's just what she's been taught. And you're going to have to pressure the copper to ring her superiors, because you want her to ring, or him to ring their superiors and check what the warrant needs, because it's an unlawful, an illegal, it's fraudulent warrant, and it is. And I guarantee you, when the police rings the superior officer, he will tell her to check the warrant for a wet ink signature. And if it's not got a wet ink signature, they'll send the bailiffs on their way. That is how simple the bailiffs are. Use the police to your advantage with this situation. You know, like, all you need to do is get them to check with their superior officers before they go making any movement that could land them in trouble lawfully. Is to check with their superior officers. All they've got to do is to check that warrant is valid, and their superior officers say it needs to have a wet signature from a judge. So it can't be printed and it can't be digital. It has to be on paper with a wet signature from a judge. They'll get sent on their way. That's how fucking simple bailiffs are. Bailiffs are the least of your worries. It's just the councils and the fucking corporations try and use bailiffs as bully boys. Just be polite, tell them to fuck off. Get the police there, get them to check the warrant. It's that simple. Check the warrant. The warrant's not valid, it's not real. And do you know why? It's got no wet signature on it from a judge. Because if a judge puts a wet ink signature on that warrant, he is taking full liability in his personal capacity for any unlawful trespasses on you. And no judge is going to risk his job or his reputation putting a wet ink signature on that warrant. Trust me on this. Watch. Look it up. Don't take my word for it. Go and look this stuff up. This is what, after fucking battle, this is what we all need to be doing. You need to be knowledgeable. You need to have this stuff in your head and being able to spit it out like I'm talking to you now, freely. I'm talking to you as a free man about your rights that you were given by God, you inherited by being born. And they're all the same. They're no better. Fuck me, I've had the police pass on fucking fines to the bailiffs. That's how pathetic it is. The police pass on a fucking a fine that hasn't been paid, a debt that they want you to pay. We've had the police fucking pass it on to a bailiff. That's fucking pathetic. The bailiff has even less authority than the fucking police. And we have more authority than both of them. So I don't know why everyone gets your knickers in a twist for. What you have to do is lose the fear. This whole system operates on, once you lose the fear, you'll find the fun in all this. It really is fun. It really is. You just need to lose the fear. Just lose the fear and it all becomes fun. It's a fucking game. It's nothing personal. Don't take any of this personal when these people are trying to get shit from you. Don't take it personal. It's just business. It's a game. Do you want to do business or not? That's how simple it is. If you don't want to do business, don't do fucking business. If they're trying to force business with you, check that they have a fucking contract. It's easy. Check they have a contract and fucking put it on them. But lawfully, respectfully, calmly, knowledgeable. Just put it on them. It's that fucking simple. It really is that fucking simple. And there's nothing they can do. Remember, it's not criminal proceedings, it's civil. You don't even have to turn up for civil proceedings. No warrant will be issued for you. I didn't turn up for two summonses, sorry. Remember, a summons is an invite. I didn't turn up for 2 council summonses at Bristol Magistrates Court because I knew I didn't have to. I knew I didn't have to. And nothing happened. That was for 21 grand in COVID fines. And because nothing happened and I didn't have to, The police couldn't do nothing about it. There was no warrants, there was no nothing. All the council do is rent a room in that court. That's all they do. It's fucking so pretty up here, man. So pretty. That's all they do, is they rent a room in the court. So no warrant will be issued for you if you don't turn up to a civil proceedings. It's the criminal proceedings that are things that have warrants. You know, the civil ones, they try and get a high court writ, a warrant to remove your goods. So remember, you don't own any goods. All you own is private property. There's a big difference between goods and it's all wordplay. It's all a game. It really is. So there is no contract. There is no lawful or legal standard. Remember, lawful trumps legal. Lawful is the real law. Legal has to have the colour of law, your consent to give it authority. Just have fun with it. Use your common law umbrella. Step inside of your common law umbrella when you need to. When you want to conditionally accept something. When you want to see some proof that you have to pay for something that there is no contract involved for between us. Between you and them, sorry. Not even between us. But if there's no contract, you don't have to pay for it. You need to have a contract. Remember, this is law of commerce. The legal system is law of commerce. This whole system is law of business, law of the water, law of commerce. It's that simple. And we live on land, and the fact that you have a birth certificate proves you was born on land. You know, it's quite simple when you get your head around it all. If you keep it simple, I can't argue. You get mixed up in it all, and you're giving them grounds to argue. You need to just keep it simple. Absolutely simple. Look at this, beautiful. If you keep it simple and you keep it lawful, no one can fuck you. Because what you're saying is the truth. What you're saying stands. This is the significance of it. Don't listen to all this fucking. The whole system is built on fear. Yeah, you can tell this. It's quite simple. There's an easy way. Like, so if you're just say driving down the road and you get an ambulance come up behind you with its sirens on, its blue lights and that flashing, how do you feel? Just feel like you've got to move out the way, yeah? Let it pass. Same with a fire engine. Just feel like you've got to move it out the way, let it pass. But how do you feel when the police are up your ass with their blue lights on and their sirens on? Feels completely different, doesn't it? Because it's based on fear. There's a key element as well. Do you know it's actually illegal for the police to be using their blue lights and sirens unless it's an emergency? It's actually illegal. They shouldn't be using their blue lights and their sirens to pull you over. That's not an emergency. They're for emergency use only. When do you see a fire engine using the blue lights and their sirens? In an emergency. Same with a fucking ambulance. In an emergency. Same with the police when it's an emergency. But if it's to pull you over for a fucking traffic offence, remember that's not law, you haven't broken any law, there's no victim, there's no crime. Corporation cannot be the crime. Then police are actually committing an illegal offence. An illegal act, even. Just using them sirens and them blue lights to pull you over. It's all based on fear. The letters you get through the door, that's why they're like splattered in red. And the demands, you know, their demands. They try and use fear. Something's going to do this, or you're going to do that. We're going to take this action, or we're going to take that action. Take the fucking action. Just write back to it with a conditional acceptance letter, asking them some general questions about the situation, so that you'll pay such and such, or do what such and such, on receipt of your terms and conditions. Remember, they're just trying to do business with you. Keep it simple. It's nothing personal, it's nothing criminal, it's civil, remember? It means it holds no fucking weight in a lawful stance, but you do. Keep it simple, have fun with it. Have fun. What have you got to lose? If your whole life you're living in fear, that's what this system is, it's fear. If your whole life is you living in fear, you're never going to get anywhere. You're never going to get anywhere. It's just going to be the constant, and they'll keep doing it. They'll never stop, mind. They'll never stop until you stand up to these people and prove that what you're saying is lawful. Lawful trumps legal. Lawful is no loss, no harm, no damage, no fraud. Legal is fucking this, that, the other, statutes, acts, this, fucking legislation, this. It's all nonsense. Complete fucking nonsense. And you shouldn't stand for it. And it's because we don't do nothing about it. That's why it still continues. That is beautiful, that. That is beautiful. Look at this. Look at that over there. Look at that. It's just absolutely stunning. You've got to get out of the cities. You know, you've got to get into nature. Remember, you don't have to do anything just because you get a bit of paper through a fucking hole in your door. Block your letterbox up. Block your letterbox up and see how better your life becomes. You tell me one bit of mail that comes through your door, right? One bit of mail, unless you're waiting on something, just say for a parcel, you've brought something new, you know, or expecting something, that's different, you know? You can always have that sent to a pickup point as well. It's not hard. I do it all the time. But what do you get through your letterbox that you actually want? What do you ever get that you actually want? When is it ever good news? This is from a letter from a loved one or a postcard. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the fucking things that come through your door, the white things. It's got a clear envelope, clear window on it. And then it's got your name, or them using your name, spat in capitals. Right? What else do you get through your door do you actually want? Every time you get something through the door like that, your heart races, doesn't it? You start going, fuck, here, what's this? What's this bill for? What's that bill? They rinse the back end out of us. And let me just make this quite clear. If something's got your name on it, it's spat in capitals, or it's got Mr., Miss, or Mrs., the owner, the tenant, the resident, that's not you. That's not you. That's your legal fiction. That's your birth certificate. That's your corporation. That's not you. It's not you. It's only you if you respond to it. If you start the contract. The minute you contract with them, they'll just keep pushing it with you. It is that simple. Don't contract with them. If it's not you, it's spelt in capitals. That's why if you look at your bank card, if you look at your driving license, your name's spelt in capitals and everything. Everything, even your birth certificate, your last name, your surname, your slave name, it's spelt in capitals. But the rest, your Christian name, spelt in uppercase and lowercase. But anything that comes through your door, anything they're trying to contract with you will be Mr. All in capitals. This is why they're trying to get you to use black ink as well as Black's Law, look. Black's Law. Get the Black's Law dictionary, start reading it. They've changed the meaning of the words that we know in common English, in the Oxford English Dictionary, let's just say. They've changed the meaning of the words, which is fraud. It's trickery. Spellings, they're casting spells. It's all contract stuff. And you don't have to contract. And the only thing that makes you contract is your fear of the unknown. And that's all it is, it's the unknown. That's where fear comes from. False events appearing real. Or you could use the word fear and forget everything and rise. That seems more my cup of tea. Fuck that, forget everything and run. Or false fucking events appearing real. Nah, fuck that. Forget everything and rise. You know? Forget everything and rise. Don't let fear rule your life. Don't let these bastards keep doing this to you. Have some fun with it. It doesn't have to be serious. It doesn't have to be scary. You just have to do what's right. Simply that. Do what is right. Stand up for your unalienable rights. Stand up for yourself. Stand up for your children. Correct their mistakes, because you're not getting away with anything. It's not you trying to getting away with anything. It's not that. It's you correcting their mistakes. They're committing fraud against your name. Remember, the birth certificate is an unlawful contract because there was no meeting of the minds, and there was no. Oh, how pretty this is. There's no meeting of the minds. Wow. There's no meeting of the minds. You didn't know what you was standing to lose, standing to gain. You didn't sign up for this. In fact, your parents were tricked into this by signing you over. Your birth certificate is basically like your fucking V5, your logbook for your car. And what does it say on your V5? You don't own the vehicle. You're just the keeper. Because you've signed it over by registering it. As soon as you register something, it's now government property. Just like when you sign your children over. You've done it yourself. Didn't know any better. The birth certificate is you signing your children over to the government. This is why they can take your children from you. They really can. All it takes is a little bit of general knowledge. Right? A little bit of general knowledge. A bit of confidence. It's going to be scary at first. You know, no one's saying it's not. But it's how much you allow it to dictate your life. Is what you need to have control on. You know, lose the fear. Start losing the fear. Remember, these people are just people, same as you and me. And if they're acting in a role, they have no rights. And your rights trump their roles. It's that simple. Keep it simple. Have fun with it. I've proved all this. Proved it with the councils. Proved it with the fucking police. And then I've just recently proved it with the fucking courts, right? Everything I've been saying the last 4 years, I've literally just proved. Now, there's a lot of people out there just sit behind desks and do interviews. And they talk a good talk online. They do all these videos, they tell you about this knowledge. But when do you ever see their videos of them practicing what they preach, let's just say? When are they practicing what they preach? Absolutely stunning. Apart from John Harris and a few others, I don't see many people practicing these things. They might all know a bit about it. When do they take the time to practice it and actually put it into action? Like I've done, because I have done it. This is why I feel I've got grounds to be able to talk about this stuff, and everyone overcomplicates it. And do you know why they overcomplicate it? I was thinking about it the other night. Sometimes they might not be overcomplicating it on purpose. It might just be because of lack of practice. So they've got all the knowledge, but they haven't done no practice. And you've got to remember, I started off doing all the hard way round. I've done it the long way round. I started off with all the paperwork, working, live life claims, stuff like that. Didn't work, none of that worked. You know, then I learnt some stuff and I just made sure I could spit it, could say it on the spot. And I started using that, and that started working. That because I was stamping my authority. I knew it, I understood it. It was logged in my head, you know, like I was stamping my authority. And there's not really much they could have done. And that's a good start, is to start learning this and keep it simple. Learn the fundamentals about the birth certificate fraud, about your unalienable rights. You don't have to memorise all them, but just have a good understanding. You know, about no loss, no harm, no damage, no fraud. There's no victim, there's no crime. Civil proceedings against criminal proceedings, two different things, you know. Police can't get involved with civil unless it's to prevent a breach of peace. It's just, all you need to do is practice some of these things. And don't overcomplicate it. Absolutely phenomenal. Absolutely beautiful. Stunning. You find the more you practice with this stuff, the more confident you become. You need to empower yourself. If you don't empower yourself, you won't get the confidence. You know, there's people out there trying to charge you to do courses. I bet these people ain't really tried it either. They might have sent letters off, and you know, fair play to them if they have. But actively go out and try and practice some of this stuff. If you get a situation, don't look at it as a bad thing, right? get a situation happen, like one of the things we've discussed recently with the police or the councils or something like that, use that as an opportunity to test some of this shit out. You know, why wouldn't you? That's all I've ever done. It's not I'm any different from you guys or any better or no more. I just understand the fundamentals. And I was in the right time, at the right place, with the right attitude. I'm no different to any of you lot. I was just as scared as some of you lot would have been. You know, it's fucking hard work standing up to the police. It's hard work standing up to environmental health in the council during a fake fucking pandemic. And the worst one was standing up to the 2 judges. Well, 1 judge in the first incident and 3 judges on the second incident. That was probably the worst one for me, was standing up to the judges. But I fucking did it. You know, I did it. And I walked. No one can deny me that fact. No one can deny that everything I fucking said from the last 4 years with this common law stuff, this God's law, everything I fucking said, I have backed up and done. I put my ass on the line and I stuck it out. I get at all costs. I was ready to go to fucking prison. I did go to prison for a week, didn't I? But I was ready to go back to jail. Looking at 6 months. But I was willing to do it rather than back down or bend over or take a deal or fucking go guilty to something I weren't fucking guilty of. And I fucking walked. How many people out there chucking out this information can you say you've done that? Can actually say, and you say you've seen them do it. I've got witnesses that a Cardiff judge fucking hit the alarm and run out the courtroom. Straight after I put him on notice with the UCC 308 without prejudice. I put him on notice. He slapped the alarm, reminded me for a week, which is why I put him on notice. He slapped the alarm and ran out the courtroom. I wasn't being aggressive or anyway, I just put him on notice. I showed him my recourse, I handed him my recourse, he acknowledged I was a living man, flesh and blood. Then he said he couldn't deal with it and he held it up, my paperwork showing the birth certificate to prosecution. He said I cannot deal with this. He acknowledged I was a living man. So I'd already showed him my recourse, which was the UCC one. I'd handed him that. Sorry, I'd handed him the affidavit of truth, not the UCC one. And I had my birth certificate in it. My birth certificate was already in their jurisdiction. I'd already handed that in. I'd done it in honour a year previous. But he said he couldn't deal with it because he couldn't deal with the living man look. And because then he said he was going to remand me just so we can throw the fucking ball back to Bristol magistrates, is when I put him on remedy, which was the UCC 1-308, 308, without prejudice, which means you're under protest. And he fucking hit the alarm and run. Hit the alarm and run. And then when I went back to court, in front of the Bristol lot, fair play to them, they did the right thing. I still believe they tried to trick me to come back in, to give me fucking, to give up me jurisdiction. They still tried that, but they couldn't have been any nicer. They released me. Unconditional bail, 2 trials to come back to. Before that happened, 1 trial was dropped. And then I disputed the second one and hit them with some paperwork and I hit them with everything I got. 4 main things. And they took me off the list the day before and I never went to the second trial. A criminal offence of assault that didn't happen. But they were still trying to push it, they were still trying to fuck me over. So unless you actually just lose the fear, and have some fun with it. Grab hold of your testicles and have some fun with it. It's going to take some balls, man. It's going to take some fucking... I said this in one of the emails. You know, I'll have to do a little video of the emails. When I've got time, and I'll stick it up on YouTube as well. You have to just put them straight. Put them straight. I told them on the email they were using fraud against my name. This, that and the other. Like I say, the more of us that actually get out there and try a bit of this stuff, the better. The more of us that get out there and do this sort of type of stuff, the better. The quicker it'll end. But have some fun with it. Don't take it all too seriously. You know? Have some fun with it. And just remember, there is no contract. And if there is no victim, there is no crime. And you're not who they say you are with capital letters or Mr, Miss or Mrs in front of it. That's not you. So why would you contract with them if you know that's not you? Do you know what I mean? It's simple. And it's only us that makes it complicated. It really is. It's just us that makes it complicated. And obviously there's people out there that have a lot of information. But, you know, I don't know. I'm not judging anyone, but all I'm saying is I know what I've done. I've actually fucking tried everything I've said, and I've done everything I've said, and it's worked, you know? So for me, that's like the main thing. I know what I've done has worked. How many others can say that? This is my point. I'm not knocking anyone, but unless you know your methods work, I don't think you should be pushing people in that direction, I could say, because you don't really know. Until you've tried it, maybe you should leave off trying to give all this information out there until you have tried it and you've succeeded, like a lot of people have. You've got to have courage in your conviction and believe in what you're doing, what you're saying. Because if you haven't, how the fuck do you expect anyone else to believe it? Because they're not going to. If you can't say what you've got to say confidently and have courage in that, you know, how are you going to expect somebody else to believe you? If you can't spit it out of your own memory, right? You have to read it off a bit of paper. It doesn't look good. You need to be confident in this, and it is so simple if you just let it be. But the main element, lose the fear, and try this stuff out. Really, try this stuff out. What have you got to lose? You got everything to gain. What have you got to lose? Like I say, if you are worried about certain things to do with payments and that, put the money to one side while you protest it. Just don't pay it. Just don't pay it. Put it to one side, and then go from there. See what you can do. You know, if you want me to explain anything else in any more videos, you know, I don't want to keep rambling on about this subject. If you want to hear more, or there's something you want me to do a video on, drop it in the comment section on this video. And give us a like, please, and give us a subscribe, give us a share. You know, get this video, this information out to everyone. Because this is what we're lacking. And it is lack of information. Look at that. It's lack of information. So let's use the algorithms, let's use the internet to benefit us, we the people. Get this video shared around, give us a subscribe, give us a comment and a like, and ask me anything. Ask me anything about this. If you want me to do a video on a certain subject, or I'll explain how something works to do with this, then I can do that. That's the least I can do. I've got this knowledge, I know it works, and I just want to help. That's my main objective here. It's not for likes, it's not for ego, it's just to help, because I believe that we all deserve this change. And you know, what they're doing to us shouldn't be happening. It really shouldn't be happening. We need to put a stop to it. We need a people system. It's that simple. Anyway, I hope you find this video useful, and good luck, have fun. Just have fun with it. It really is that simple. See you soon, guys. Take care. Ta-ra.